Hi Aries and welcome to your monthly. So I'm talking to the winning sign for these guys who don't know what they're talking about, who are new on the channel. Aries is basically the biggest supporter of my channel, and channel is just going to be a month old in a few days on the 21st, I believe. So there is this competition in a weekly, and monthly horoscopes or taroscopes. The sign that actually has the most subscription and most likes and most shares and most comments is the ones who are doing before the others and who get a little bit more extras. So Aries was a big winner. And here we go again. So just keep up the good work, and just to let you know that the Scorpio is like right behind you, and they're obviously trying to get ahead. So just keep this in mind. Also, I want to let you know that there is like a pattern in the universe. It looks like every sign is dealing with something that is completely out of their element, and you are no different. Uh, so the reading this month is going to be very elaborate, and I would really like to hear from you if this is too much, if you just don't care for listening half an hour, that you would like something short and sweet. Do you really want every card to be explained? Do you want a general feel? Because right now I'm still kind of tapping in the dark, trying to figure out. So this time around, like very much like your weekly, but even way more elaborate, I'm going to do tarot. I'm going to do Vera Sevilla. I'm going to do Lenormand deck, and we have the love cards. So then we're going to pull it together because each of them is giving basically a little bit more insight in it. Like tarot, they say that kind of gives you more of the inner world and the feelings, while Vera Sevilla and Lenormand are giving you more like matter of fact, this is what's going on. And here you can get different energy from different kind of storylines. But I don't think it's such a clear line. And so you'll see what I mean as we go into it. So let's go with it. Very, very, very interesting that I pulled a wedding card, and this situation involves marriage. So let's see, why is this here? Because I didn't see it really in the cards otherwise. So it's going to be really important, or maybe this is something that you set your mind on. So let's start. The energies of the month would be Four of the Sea and Three of the Sea. As I told you, like, we're all dealing with energies we are not comfortable with. So these are emotions. You guys are really good with passion. You kind of like can have this charisma. You're moving ahead. You're forging ahead. You go for what you want. But you know what? When it comes to emotions, almost feels like for you that this is kind of watered down version of who you are. And yet here you are. This could be dealing with something that you just want to shed from your past, a company that you don't like, people that you don't like. You're really good cutting it off. And here could be even a little bit of remorse that you feel that you took somebody for granted and you kind of lost this person. Or it could be the other way around, that maybe it was a three-party situation and right now you're getting out of it. So maybe we'll see as the story evolves where this is going. So where is the starting point? Starting point is kind of like making yourself feel uncomfortable. Right now, this is like Nine of Earth reversed. So this is this ultimate single card, but not bad single. This is really good single where you're really feeling comfortable. You know, when you see the cat sleeping in the sun, enjoying, and she doesn't need anybody, well, that's a really good single where you really need kind of like to nurture yourself. You need to be selfish, and that selfish is good. So this is reversed. For some reason, you are not devoting yourself to have this comfort. Sort of like, I guess you're going into these other spheres, but you want to gain strength by putting yourself out of your comfort zone. And this is a strength of kind of like holding down your urges. It's like really, really kitty cat that doesn't want to get these little birds eaten right now. So you know how much effort this is, because in my house, all I have to say, watch the birdies, and the cat shows up. There you go. She has the ears up. However, the fire energy is right here. You have a fire kitten, you still are your Aries. Like, this is your nature. Like, you really want to play with fire, You want to provoke. You don't care if your little tail is like already on fire and steaming. You don't care if you're getting burned a little bit because that's what you like. So again, this is again another emotional card. It's kind of like you're either taking with you as a lesson, kind of like learning that different people have different needs, and that maybe you can even find cats that like water, like in this picture, or that other people do not experience the same level of passion as you, because you seem to be surrounded with these emotional cards, like in the base, then you have it here, then you have it here, and then you have it here. So just like kind of your emotional uh, lesson for the month. So this is sort of the ultimate goal, and the lesson of the month is sort of actually develop that refinement in emotion, kind of expand your passion to actually feel deeply inside. And maybe this is sorry, maybe this is where this card comes in. This situation involves marriage. Maybe you're getting ready to go to Aries 2.0, and you understand that you want to kind of develop yourself into this comfort, to understand how deep you can go with the people. Not only passion is on the surface, like torching with the fire, but this is really going deep. And for that, you really need trust, and you really kind of have to be able to kind of be let down. But that's a lesson that you're going to explore. And in fact, you might even have some bad lessons, because this is Five of Sea. So what do we see here? The kitty that fell into the pond over here got all wet. And you know how much they enjoy. They absolutely hate it. But you know what's the lesson here? Like, I mean, shake off and try again. Nothing is lost. However, in this case, everything is kind of like upside down. The kitty is going to continue being wet. And so what is the lesson here? Like, again, it's a repetition of this earthy message. You're kind of getting yourself out of the comfort zone. Here is like on a kind of day-to-day level. Here is an emotional level. But nothing to fret, because you're going to have that strength with you all along. Also, this card is like in your current situation. It's a reverse Eight of Earths. So here we see a mother kind of taking her kittens out for basically to train them how to hunt and how to survive in life. And that's kind of like almost the opposite of it, sort of like feeling a little bit embarrassed, kind of losing your ground. But this in the reverse situation basically warns us that you cannot have all work and no fun. And maybe to some extent you're experiencing this, because here in the next card is like 10 of Earths, and we're seeing here again the 9 of Earth is it was reversed over here. Now you have 10 of Earth. So these are two final cards of finishing the earthy comforts. You're kind of making yourself feel very uncomfortable, because here every single kitty has its space and place, and they found a comfort with coexisting with the others. But here, nobody has any comfort. It's kind of like all kind of starting on a different kind of footing and kind of starting anew. So sort of like there is actually discomfort, if anything else. And it could be also that there are the others who are creating this in your life, which kind of would make sense with the next card, which is Eight of Sky. So now we have a little bit of intellectual energy and sort of a little panic attack that you might be feeling. Well, you see this little kitty is tangled up in those branches, and it's like so scared. It's so panicky. So this is card in a position of what you need to overcome. So you have to overcome this feeling of holding on too hard and allowing yourself. So that's that Queen of Cups, or Queen of Sea Queen. So this basically has to be with allowing yourself to be vulnerable. So you here in this situation, what do you need to do to release? You need to relax. And only when you relax and kind of like approach this like coldly, that's why it's a sky. It's a thought process here that is at play. So it just goes to show how thoughts can influence your actions. Here, if you get all panicked, you can get tangled up and maybe even injured, and the goodies are going to go away, and you're going to then feel like you're being attacked. On the other hand, if you relax and think of where is the opening, that can be the solution. So, it just goes to show that, you know, there is an exit, but you have to kind of relax and find yourself in order to find it. And the end is again the Earth card. First and last cards are usually kind of connected. So you're leaving all these comforts of Earth features, and here this is basically happening. Here is in this position, Four of Earth is a kitty that is on its own, enjoying and kind of hoarding his little toys, and kind of like not really playing with that. The whole point of this Earth pleasures is actually enjoy them. But here, the key is understanding, okay, let's shake it up. Let's get them all from the storage and let's actually enjoy it. So here you're learning to relax and you're learning to accept that, you know, you also have from time to time these kind of situations. And this is, again, very similar energy, right? You have to stop and play, and cannot be all the time passion. Sometimes the play is just very earthy thing, enjoying the food with friends, enjoying, you know, so small, basically, luxuries in life. So now we are going to go into a little bit more details, and here there are going to be different storylines. So you might recognize yourself in one or more of them. So we will see also how, you know, there are parallels with this inner world that you have. So for women, you can be a sweetheart, right here. You can be a wife. This can be the guy you're having an eyes on, or inquire, or your mate, a lover. And where is the Lord? There is the Lord. That can be also another guy. Then we have a young woman. That can be another character. So let's see how the stories evolve. The lover. There is a lover who's really in love, who kind of like really wants to shack up, you know, who's going through the range of emotions, and he's a little bit confused because looks like he's still kind of like here, not sure if he wants to play the field or not, because it looks like he will have to be making a choice and let go of somebody. On the other hand, he's present right now. He is with someone, or you are with someone, and it could be just sort of like something that is servicing because you have a servant in between. And or it could be just a new beginning that is just like right now, because I see like in him showering you with gifts, and you know, he's trying to do this relationship wisely. Maybe it's somebody who sees a potential with you, somebody who has an eye on you, and who wants to do it this way. But this guy also has some kind of enemies, and look at his two in a row. Like this is a foe and this is an enemy. And, you know, and they're kind of like digging and undermining his efforts. So it looks like this can be a false start, and this undermining him is going to affect you because you're going to get the messages about some kind of misfortune. You see 2 times messages, and it's going to be a breakup. And you will think that the breakup is because of another woman, and you'll be very sad about it. But at the same time, you're going to question what was the true things, and you're going to turn and find another guy who will maybe be the one shoulder to cry for, complaining about this one. Or this could be just the same person who basically did get through new beginning with you, and then kind of like experiencing the whole cycle, and kind of came back with kind of a new approach and with a new beginning. Or could be a completely different guy that you're turning to. So what is in the future for you guys? You immediately something is going to happen in the beginning of the month, which kind of can create some kind of turmoil, which if you look at it, it's a discard, which kind of like is something that is happening, and this card where, you know, you can get yourself a little bit burned. And however, you're going to have this consistency and solidity, and this is kind of this card, but at the same time, you're going to have this falseness. So you're not going to be sure what's the reality, what is not reality. So these cards are really overlapping. And yet it's going to be somebody else here. And it's going to be a person. This could be you, and if this is you, then you're coming from a situation of breaking up some relationship, or I don't know. I see the death card here, a healing and wedding. So it was a bad surprise that kind of like came from your past, and then is a thief. So there was a something, if that's you, and then I guess it might overlap over here. You either kind of broke up with somebody, or somebody broke up with you, or you took somebody for granted, or it was a third party situation. So I think that will be that storyline. And yes. And there is like this thievery over here. Like, I mean, somebody is stealing. It doesn't have to be necessarily stealing. That can be simply taking away something that you feel is rightfully yours, or taking away your guy. But at the same time, I don't see, do I see the guys? Yeah, there is overlapping with this guy over here in money. So if this is a divorce, which kind of appears to be a big breakup, it's going to be some kind of money that is going to be very hard for him to separate from, but it's going to be very fortunate for you. And actually, because of this money, this guy might want to continue being with you. You see a reunion and conversations, you know, and you might be surprised that kind of like the whole thing is going to be questioned. But the question is like that you might not want him, because you see, you're going to have a dear friend who is going to tell you that you really have to think about this guy. You see, because I see here for this guy a divorce in the end. So that's this guy over here. For this woman here, I also see death of the wedding. Right? So I see that, and kind of like sadness, and kind of like feeling depressed, and somebody kind of who stole something from you. So both of them have overlapping storylines. These two guys here, so that could be, you know, Aries that kind of like are not fitting into this story, are starting in the beginning of starting something new, but sort of like almost they'll have to raise from the ashes, because this guy also has something going on that is a whole bunch of circumstances. It looks like thrown your way, where you have to fight, and then you have to fight, right? And then you have to lose your comfort zone, and, you know, deal with crap. Because even though this woman doesn't have basically any walls in front of her, like, I mean, there are like certain outside circumstances that are actually created in her life that kind of like are creating issues, and circumstances are not working out because of it. This is not to say that people are not going to be in your life. They will be, but it might not be a full-blown relationship until later, because right now obviously love exists and there are good intentions over here. There is no question in my mind that, because she's knighting this card, so this is obviously love with somebody. So some of you are going to have a very loving start and very promising start. The others are going to go through breakup. It might be that some people are not fully with both legs out of the previous things, and they're maybe still clearing the mess. And however, there are good intentions over here. It's relatively kind of like good, because there is this third party in the air with the other signs as well. But here it looks like that every person is sort of clear where and who they want to be with. And to see the future for this girl, for you most likely, is like messages about home. So here you're again overlapping with this person as well, as you kind of meet this person through some kind of service, or in a coffee shop or something that you, restaurant, some kind of like meeting. And you just have to watch that you are not overly seductive, because you can send the wrong message, and instead show the loyalty, right? And he will have to deal with some people who are undermining him. This guy over here will possibly deal with children and some messages from the children. and trying to please them and have the conversations with them. This woman here will actually find a friend who is going to be there for her and kind of like take her to this whole situation, but also can be a false friend with, you know, this being taken away from her and kind of like causing some kind of grief. But this woman is still going to come on top because there's going to be some consolation where the money is basically being rewarded through conversations. And you know, there is the offer of reunion, but somehow you're not going to feel that's the right thing for you if this is who you identify with, because you'll feel that it's just like simply, you know, the person is not serious enough, and maybe, you know, there are like issues over here with the partner who might kind of like spend too much time with looking at the other ladies, and you just pretty much want to kill it. You don't want to feel sick over that and worry and feel sad. You just like simply just want to go in that direction. And then lastly, I just want to check how basically each person energy is going to fly this month. So what I'm going to do is we're going to have a man and a woman. So if you are a woman, if you're Aries woman, you're going to look at this woman and we're going to explain your situation. And if this is the guy you have an eye on, or it's your partner, that's going to be his situation. If you're a guy, it's the other way around. You're this guy, this is the woman. Same-sex partner, you might have the same kind of same gender looking at it. So I have reshuffled this. So again, this is all looked upright, so that's why I'm turning the cards. And some same cards. They're made to look like tarot cards, but they have different meanings, so don't worry about that. Okay. Let's see. Let's start about him first. Your partner or the person that you have in mind is somehow have a clouded judgment right now. He is dealing with issues of his reputation. He's well aware that this is cross to bear, and you know, it might be an issue of a communication. It might be some kind of trouble involved. You might meet this person on a trip. You might, you know, it might be somebody with very long legs, somebody very tall as well. Certainly he has love on his mind and he has a big loyalty, but he has issues that he has to bridge. There is a mountain that he has to go around. This is a big challenge for him that he currently has, and he feels that his own efforts are being undermined with some kind of small nibbling or squabbles or nagging. So, but he definitely has love on his mind, and it's like completely pure. It's loyalty, and there is no dishonesty. He just simply has to kind of let this fog lift. For you ladies, you are expecting communication, and you're hoping this communication is going to give you some extra strength and hope. At the same time, you're looking into your own health issues, and kind of like you want to also grow relationship that is on a healthy base, that this is like the really lovebirds. This is a card of happiness, of a big happiness, and this can indicate reunion. And this is the card of big gatherings. So again, I don't know if maybe it's going to be some kind of trip where, you know, or some kind of party, or it could be a club, or it could be even a social media, because that's where, you know, like you'll find lots of people. This can also indicate somebody mature and somebody peaceful, and it would indicate it's going to be sort of like a winter environment. However, you also have a fox, or this could be just simple relocation because of a job, or just simply somebody is trying to outfox you. But it's a smaller problem, because in the end, in the end, you have a gift or a surprise. The bouquet is a really good card. So you have like these three very, very happy cards. So ladies, you're going to have some positive communications. You're going to take care of yourself, kind of like pull yourself together, and you're going to have luck in the dealings. So what is really the most important thing is like you're starting with this communication, which kind of is important. And maybe since this card was saying the situation involves marriage, if you guys are coupled, maybe there are things that need to be, resolved. Or if you guys are single, who are having some kind of circumstantial kind of things that are happening, he has some kind of mountains to overcome, and you guys have some issues. It could be just simply clearing your own things and trying not to be a smart aleck or smart like fox, and instead kind of like pull yourself together and trying to again get this earthy energy that we had over here. You see, we have this tree growing something into healthy, long, tall, something that withstands, like, the test of time. So it's a really good reading. You are going to go through some emotional things this month, and that's going to be your lesson. It's a Pisces month after all, which is kind of gentle and kind of like reactive, and you're a passionate sign. So you just have to go through it, kind of getting familiar with that side of your personality. And the month is really good for you. You're going to land really well, feeling greater comfort, understanding really how these emotions work, like uh, getting this new dimension of not only being passionate, but knowing how to go deep inside of yourself, how to really emotionally expand yourself and putting the roots down. So thank you again, Aries, for supporting this channel. I actually really appreciate that. So if you're new, please subscribe and like. Then you get in your box, or you get notifications of the new things are done. A reminder: Wednesdays are weeklies, and please fight for being one of the first ones. So you know how to do it with likes, with comments, with shares. And again, thank you very much. Enjoy your month, and I love you. Talk to you soon.